Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a state of the market update. Today is May 30th, 2020. Before we get started, this video is for educational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, so we're going to start with the SPX as we always do. And you can see that this week we definitively cleared all of this supply in here. I think that is super bullish because now we have a great level that we can trade against, right? As long as we're above this level, everything is good. TradingView actually just started average volume weighted average prices. You can snap to a specific area. So these red lines right here, this one's from the high, that's from the low, right? The most recent high and low. And you can see that all these, that the price is way above the average volume weighted price. And that tells me that this is a healthy bullish move, right? Now, if we saw if we saw price below this area, that would be a different story. So for now, I mean, I'm construing this as just another healthy uptrend, basically, and it's been relentless. Even on the weekly, we're going to go to weekly. So there's the concern, right? Is this some kind of fancy topping pattern? As of right now, we can't say that it is. If this rolls over next week, that would create a much more concerning look to it, but we're not there. It's not doing it. So we can only trade what's in front of us. And looking at the monthly, you can see that this was just the uptrend is on the monthly is fine. This was just a shakeout, if you will. Again, if it rolls over, different story, but that's a lot of ifs, and we're not there. So I still see this S&P as innocent until proven guilty. Looks pretty good. Let's look at the Qs. So here's the Qs. Again, you'll see on the major averages, I did snap highs and lows for the average volume weighted price. Qs are way above them. And I think there's room to run. Now, once we get into this area, this is an area that I'd be watching for maybe a pullback. And could it happen beforehand? Sure. We're pretty close to new all-time highs, so on and so forth. So yeah, there's some white space left up here, and we may hit it. We may not hit it, right? So we don't have to hit it for a pullback to happen, right? Like if you look back in history, pullback happened right here, didn't have to hit the top rail. Pullback happened right here, didn't have to hit the top rail. Didn't have to hit the top rail. So we're coming up to an area though of the prior highs, right? And we're gonna make new all-time highs if we can get above. What is this? Let's take a look. Closing high up, we'll call it 237. So if we can close higher than 237, is a new closing high, all-time high on the NASDAQ. But we are getting into this nosebleed area, so maybe a little caution is indicated for a pullback. Now, pullback just means pull back to these moving averages, let them catch up, and then the more likely scenario is that we move higher. There's no reason to think that we wouldn't. So that is what I would think would happen. Moving on to IWM. All right, so oops, if I type it in there right, IWM. So we had a double top, came all the way down. This area going to a weekly obviously was very important in the past. This area right now is kind of important. We pulled back from it. And so, yeah, a little chop in this area, that would kind of make sense, right? It actually moved quite a bit off the lows. Let's see, off the lows, we are at, to the highs that we went intraday highs, 50%, right? That's a 50% move in a very short period of time. So some chopping here, let the moving averages kind of catch up. You have a nice cross right there. Average volume weighted prices are below it, curling up. I mean, everything looks good right there, right? I'm not saying it's going to go to the moon straight up, but it's participating in some chop and then a breakout. Maybe a little pullback and then a breakout. That'd be amazing, right? That's exactly what you'd want to see. Dow Jones Composite Average, again, very similar. Just kind of chopping around, looking at the weekly. This is the area that you may find some supply, and you may get a little bit of a pullback, let the moving averages kind of catch up. But you can see it's been in a pretty strong uptrend, and you had here and you had here, and so this will go in the book of a pullback and then moving higher. Everything changes obviously if we roll over and get below all of this. So now this is the area that looks to be extremely important. There's a lot of memory right here. All the moving averages are bunched up there. So that's what I'm looking at for, we continue higher or pull back to here. No big deal, 79.40-ish. And then I'd expect to at least come up and try to challenge this area. All right. Let's go into some sectors. XLF. So looking at the monthly, we had this area that was very, very important, right? And that area was very, very important. I'm just gonna fix that because that's annoying me right now. Thank you. And we came back down to here. It held, undercut it, and boom, back up. That's on the monthly. On the weekly, again, that same area, and we're holding tight here. Some people could say this is a bear flag. Well, a bear flag is only a bear flag when it confirms. Meaning for me, it's got to get below this $20 level, right? If we break back below $20, different story. But right now, we're not. It's in an uptrend. And let's go on a daily so we can see this. Yeah, so here's the volume weighted average price. Price is above it. If this rolls back over, and again, we break $20, that's a different story, right? But as of right now, it is, we'll call it constructive, right? So it's just a retest right now of this area. There's a lot of history now being made down here. Let's see if it holds. Here is SMH, and SMH, again, let's go to the monthly. I mean, uptrend is intact on the monthly, beautiful. Weekly, we have this 100-ish area held, right? It retested it. It held right there, boom, straight back up. So we're above all the moving averages. Everything is curling up. We are going to be challenging all-time highs soon, right? Another 9 points or so. And so that's a place where I think you may find some sellers. But do I think at this point that we're going all the way back down to here? I don't. I think that the pullback will be a viable pullback. Unless we break all these moving averages, especially if it's like a vertical violation, like something like this, right? That's what I would consider a vertical violation. Vertical violation. That would change my mind because that's some strong price action right here. But really, I mean, all-time highs, a little pullback, and then break out to new highs. That would be the bullish scenario. I'm just going to the daily on this. Some nice just sideways consolidation right here. Nothing with nothing. Moving averages are moving up. That looks really bullish. All right, so we're going to go to next is lumber. So here we go. Here's lumber. Here was the most important area that we were looking at. Let's just go to weekly so we can see it easy. Boom. This was the important area. It's been important. This was an important area. And so what are we looking at? We are looking at breakout, a really quick little retest, Moving averages are starting to cross in a bullish fashion. So as long as we stay above or at least in this green area with moving averages looking constructive like this, I think that that is definitely a bullish signal. And again, break down below 50, 52, which would break below both these moving averages over the next couple of days. That would be the bearish scenario. So again, lumber right now, bullish scenario is still intact. Next up will be, all right, so let's look at the value line geometric index next. Value line geometric index is saying that we are still very healthy in breadth. It is just continually making higher highs, boom, 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 and higher lows, boom, 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 or somewhere around there. Constructive, right? We are way above all this other stuff. Here we go, way above everything. And this is looking good so far. No reason to be bearish here. This is, again, unless we start taking out these moving averages and get below this green line, really. I mean, that's a pretty big drop right there. If we drop, that would be, about 12% from where we are down. So I don't see that as going to be happening, but you never know. But right now, bullish scenario. All right, so we're going to go to the Spx Tlt Ratio Chart. And what are we seeing here? Again, we broke out above this important area. Go to the weekly to see it easy. Here's the weekly chart. This was the important area. Price is above it. There's nothing bearish about this chart. It tells me that if people are more interested in equities over safe haven bonds, that we are in a bullish scenario, period. I mean, why complicate things? Looking at bond ratios. So this is the IEI versus the high yield. So we have the 70-10-year government bond versus high yield bonds. And we are seeing these spreads continue to tighten, right? We're seeing lower highs, and so far lower lows. This one obviously remains to be seen if it creates that lower low, but right now we have lower highs and lower lows, and that's good. Tightening of credit spreads will give a more bullish environment, and so far so good. Nothing bearish about this. Let's look at the silver gold ratio. All right, so silver gold ratio is kind of interesting because let's go to weekly. It's been in a long-term downtrend, right? We had the spike up in 2010 to 2011, and then this downtrend began, and it has continued for a decade. But what do we see here? We are seeing a flush down and now a quick rebound. So silver now is outperforming gold since end of April. So the downtrend is still intact. It's nothing that I'm totally concerned about. But with silver outperforming gold, that just shows there's still a segment of people that are worried about the stock market and maybe the economy as a whole. I don't know, but this kind of stood out to me. The flush down and then the comeback. Now, if we were to take out this downtrend line, that would get me extremely bullish on the precious metals. I still own some miners, but this flush right here, that's interesting. We'll see if silver has some more legs underneath it on a relative basis and absolute basis. Okay, then let's look at iron versus gold. So here's another chart I've been watching a long time, as you know, and we are still underneath this green area. So this a break above here would definitely signal, like this is the last thing I need to signal the all clear So this is one of the things that still makes me like, I don't know, maybe this is all fake. If we can get above here, that would change my mind a lot, 100%. I don't trade, I don't trade this chart per se. It's a relative chart, but this is as a signal. I would like to see this break higher. It's just not doing that yet. But just remember, this is a secondary signal, right? This isn't the signal that you're in trade off of. This is just one piece of information, one piece of the puzzle. So the other piece, another piece of the puzzle is the percent of stocks above the 50-day moving average. And we're elevated. We went from almost, I think maybe all-time lows, or at least recent all-time lows, right? We went lower than the 2008 lows, all the way to this red area, which is a pretty high area. So this is probably this signal is one of the better signals that tells me that we should be open to a pullback in the market. Again, it doesn't have to pull all the way back here, but a pullback in the market to get into a normal range. Every time we get into this reddish area, you see a pullback, right? You see a pullback. It may or may not happen immediately, right? But then you see a pullback. It's up here, pullback. So frothy. That's what I would consider this. This is like a froth indicator. Market's a little frothy right now. I would expect a pullback here. Does not have to be a major pullback, but pullbacks I think would be a healthy right now. All right, so let's go over sectors, and then I'm going to wrap up the video. So I'm seeing two types of charts out there. So the first type of chart I'm seeing is, all right, so we're a V chart, right? A V chart with price trying to get back to all-time highs or challenging all-time highs within 10% or so or less. So the ones I see as V charts are XLK, technology, XLV, healthcare, right? XLY. This is discretionaries, XLC, communications, and XLB materials, right? So these are the ones that I'm seeing that are close to challenging all-time highs and have a V shape to it. Then there's the L charts, right? And this is an L-looking chart to me. XLF, so it's energy. This is financials. Industrials are more L chart to me. Utilities, L chart. This is staples, L chart. And the last one is real estate. So I think that it is clear what sectors are outperforming just from looking at that. What's the shape of the chart, a V or an L? So, in my trading accounts, I only want to be in charts that are looking like V's, right? I don't want to, because that's where everyone else wants to be. That's where the institutions want to be. They want to be in the risk on charts. We're talking about, and these are the big guys, right? This technology, this is healthcare, this is discretionaries. Those are some of the, the biggest ones out there. Financials is probably the one missing out of the bunch. But it may be starting to turn. We'll see. It's maybe the bottoming action that we've been waiting for. We will see. Again, so just looking at the charts overall, the market's in an uptrend. Why fight the trend? Everything else we looked at besides price is just a secondary indicator, right? And so I'm really trying to separate, secondary indicators from primary. And there's only one primary indicator, and that is price. Market's clearly an uptrend. I think that the levels are clear. On the SPX, we have this green shaded area. We have these upturning moving averages, and boom, and there you have all-time highs up here. So as long as price stays above the green and all these moving averages, no reason to not participate, right? We're not going to anticipate when the market's going to turn, because we'll never know. So might as well just participate and profit from it. And so tomorrow, I'm going to do my top-down approach video and share stocks on my focus list. So I'm going to try to do this monthly now, a top-down approach video, and go through my process and share with you the end result, which is my focus list. And we'll go over those charts. And it could be, who knows how many charts will be on there. I'll find out tomorrow. But I can tell you that right now, XOK, XOV, XOY, those are going to be the charts that probably will be most interesting. Again, we'll look at it tomorrow. And again, if you find this video and any of my videos helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. I hope you guys have a good week. Good luck this week, and take care.